Hey guys, I'm back with another book review, and today's book I'm going to talk about Brian Keene's The Cage from Deadite Press. It was released in 2011, and some fascinating artwork by artist Alan Clark. So this book has 4 short stories, The Cage being the longest of them, running at about 72 pages, and after each story there is an author's note. Now, each story is really good. Brian Keene rarely disappoints, especially me. I haven't read all of his work, but the stuff that I have read, I haven't been disappointed yet. So I'm going to start from the last story and work my way up to The Cage. The last story is called Waiting for Darkness, and Keene says himself that this was inspired by Richard Lehman's writing, and it's very short, very sweet. Just a page long. He wrote it to basically be printed on a shirt, and very short book, story rather. Then we have Lest Ye Become. Now this is a good story. Brian Keene says in his author's note that he wasn't impressed by it. The writing wasn't good. It was very flawed, and I'm going to disagree with him. This is the story about a student who goes on this rampage, and he's killing fellow students and some faculty members in his school. And what's different about this is the victims aren't really what they seem. So yeah, that's just a great story. And we always hear from horror fans just like myself, all these remakes, and we're remaking this, there's no originality anymore. But why can't somebody film this? Why can't somebody film some of these stories? These are original stories. The second story is Marriage Causes Cancer in Rats. This is about a guy named Harold, and it opens up. The story opens up where he is told by a doctor that he has terminal cancer, and that's it. He's gonna die, and he's got these tumors growing on him. And I'm going to spoil this one a little bit because it is fun. But he's got these tumors, and Harold isn't very happy in his marriage. He has 2 kids. His sex life has died. He kind of feels like his family's weighing him down. And he meets this mistress named Cecilia. And eventually it turns out that he kills his entire family. And he also kills Cecilia. And the tumors that are protruding from him are his family and Cecilia. And Cecilia's tumor is down below on his member, and pretty funny, good story, very original. I liked it. Now, the title story, The Cage, is the one I really want to go into, and I'm not going to spoil it because I do want you to read it. But basically the story starts out, and Brian Keene throws a haymaker and connects, and he doesn't let up from there. The story starts out, we're introduced to our characters, and they're in a electronics store, something like a Best Buy or a Circuit City, and this gunman, this intruder who is dressed in all black, enters the store, and he is on a mission. He's very stoic, very expressionless, and if you get in his way, he's just going to kill you. And he does. Within the first page, he's killed 2 people. And he's not messing around here. So what he does is he needs 6 people alive. So he takes the remaining living workers of the store, and he takes them back to the cage. Now the cage is where they keep all their expensive TVs and DVD players and all the expensive items that you find in the store. It's back in the warehouse. And we're introduced to characters like we have Carlos, Jeff, who's the main character. We have Jared, Roy, Clint, and they're all stuffed in this cage, right? And the gunman has specific directions. He wants in the storefront, he wants all of the TVs to have like this black and white static, just like back in the day when the cable companies would turn off at night, and you would have like the US flag and the national anthem, and the whole screen would go like black and white and static. That's what this guy wants, and you don't know why. So one by one, he takes somebody from the cage, and then there's 5 left, and there's 4 left. And as he takes each one from the cage, they never come back. And this is where we are given some character development through dialogue and exchange, and we get to know these characters. And that's what Brian Keene does best. He puts these characters in a confined space, and we get to know them on a personal level, on a human level. We feel like we are relatable to them. And Brian Keene writes very relatable characters, very likable characters. And there are characters that aren't very likable, like the character Jared. He's kind of a whiner. He really doesn't add anything to the situation to help out. He just whines basically the entire time. And then you have Roy, who's like the old guy. He's wise. He has a little bit more wisdom than the younger ones. And Jeff is our main character. He is the level-headed, thinks everything through. But there is some bickering, and there are some fights that ensue between the characters that are stuck in the cage. And you know, it's kind of like, what do you do when you're in this dire situation and you're put into this confined space and there's no way out? But anyway, we find out this intruder what he wants to do, and I'm not going to spoil it, but it's very weird, very original. I haven't read a short story like this. So the Cage to me is a compilation of just 4 short stories, and Brian Keene, like I said, with the Cage, the story of the Cage, we enter the story and he assaults us with his writing, and that's in a good way too. His writing is fresh, it's to the point, it packs a punch, and for a lack of a better phrase, it's a page turner. Yeah, so when Brian Keene sets in, he doesn't let up, and I like where the story goes. I appreciate this book by Deadite Press, and they have tons of Brian Keene's material on there and other authors, and I've been collecting these books for quite a while, and I'm rarely disappointed. And they're still going strong, so check them out on their website, or you could get these on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or wherever books are sold. But yeah, The Cage, phenomenal book, quick read. I'm a slow reader. I got this done in about an hour and a half. And I hope my recommendation, I hope this recommendation, maybe you want to pick it up and read it, because you know, we're living in pretty bad times. We're all locked in from COVID, and there's so much violence going on. And what better way to escape reality with a really good book? And that's what I decided to do today. Just read this book, get it out there to you guys. Hopefully you like it. Check Brian Keene out. Great author. Like I said, rarely disappoints. And I'll be back with another video shortly. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe. See you next time.